Okay, good evening and welcome to a special night edition of Just Daf It, Daf Yomi Shir. We're continuing Maseches Nedarim, Daf Ches, number 8. Should be an exciting shir today. I wasn't available in the morning. I was busy out in town having a good time with my wife. Went out to breakfast. Should try it sometime. I highly recommend, couples go out a lot for dinner. I think the best time to go out is breakfast, it really is. At night, weather is nice, you sit outside, get some breakfast. I don't know, breakfast is like more enjoyable to go out with your wife than for dinner. Dinner's like too formal. Costs less also. So my recommendation. Let's get started. Bottom of Zion, my base last words. Amar Rogidol, Amar Rav, top of Chaim Aleph. How do you know that you take a shvua? You're allowed to take a shvua to kaim es mitzvah. We'll talk more about this. What it means in Iyun Ben Sion. Shemer nishpati v'chemer lishmar mishvah. It says, I took a shvua and I was Makayim, the mitzvahs. David HaMelech says in Tehillim, where I asked, right? You're taking a shvua, let's say you're taking a shvua. And we'll discuss more, this means Lakayim as a mitzvah. Let's say, not talking about the first night of Pesach. Like, I'll give you a hint to what I'm going to speak about in Yud Ben Sion. There's a mitzvah chiyuvis, and there's a mitzvah kiyumis. The Gross says there's a mitzvah eat matzah, the entire 7 days of Pesach. First night is chova. The rest of Pesach is called mitzvah kiyumis. That's why I'm going to explain the Gemara over here. How do you know you take a shvua l'kayim as a mitzvah to eat matzah? I take a shvua that I'm going to eat 12 whole matzahs on the second day of Pesach, right? So the Gemara is even though you're not a chova in the mitzvah, you already when Klal Yisrael stood at Har Sinai, they took a shvua, right? They took a shvua. They're going to keep the Torah. Nasav and Ishma was sort of a shvua. Right? If you say you're going to do a mitzvah, even if you don't use the word shvua, it's a shvua. So we already commanded, the fact that we accepted the Torah, we were commanded in that already. So some Rishonim learn how to take effect. We're going to see. I don't think that's the pshat over here. I think the pshat over here is meaning the mitzvah is, I'm already giving you what Iyun Ben Sion, but you can take slowly the Ben Sion during the regular share. The chol was the first night. There's no mitzvah. There's no mitzvah kiyumis. This is the Gemara, mitzvah kiyumis over here. The Gemara is hakam the shari inish shari leila inish zuzi nafshe. The Gemara is telling you that you're right. Even though there's no obligation to do a mitzvah kiyumis, right? It's only in the first night of Pesach the matzah. There's still an idea when a person is strengthening himself in Torah and mitzvos. Right, zrizos, right? I mentioned Mesilas Yesharim. Zehiros leads to zrizos, alacrity, to be careful in the mitzvos. When you're on your journey to being more steadfast in keeping the mitzvos, it's a nice thing maybe to take a chumrah upon yourself, even though I'm so against chumras, but I myself personally took many chumras upon myself when I was becoming more from. Eventually, when you reach a certain level, you start to decrease the chumras and look for tulas, but and when you're becoming more connected to the Torah and mitzvahs, you want to make sure you do all the mitzvahs. So taking a chomer is not such a bad thing. So that's what the Gemara is saying. It's not just saying that you got to take a shvua, right? A shvua to do a mitzvah. It's actually you have to take a shvua to accept extra things upon yourself. Mitzvah kiyumis, right? You're getting a mitzvah. It's not an obligation, but there's an inyan of doing it, like a woman shaking a lulav on sukkahs, things like that. She doesn't have to. Or hearing blow her tekiah shofar, right? Nonetheless, a person's allowed to zuzay nafshe for the purpose of zrizos, acquiring mitzvahs, zrizos, coming closer to our mitzvahs. I basically gave you most of Iyun Ben Sion, but you should listen to it just for clarity. A person says, I wakes up, he says, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to finish a parak of Gemara, or I'm going to finish a whole masech of Gemara. I don't know what he meant in the morning before davening. It's a pretty big thing. Neder gadol neder like it's a pretty big neder that you took to Hashem that you promised to do a whole masechta. The Gemara asks, "Vela Mushva Omer Har Sinai is Mushva Omer, right? This mitzvah limud Torah applies at Har Sinai. Why are you doing this? Ve'ein shvua chalal shvua." The Gemara adds a second line over here. Based on the second line, that's what forced me to explain the Gemara the way I explained it in the first statement of Gidol Marab. Here, the Gemara says, "Ein shvua chalal shvua." The mitzvah of limud Torah is a chiyuv, right? You have a mitzvah to learn Torah every day. That's a chova. That's not a voluntary acceptance upon yourself. If you want to, you can do it. It's not an nedava. You have to do it. So ain't shvua chalal shvua. I think right as a line, right? If I take a shvua, I'm gonna eat a loaf of bread, and I take another shvua, I'm gonna eat a loaf of bread. The second shvua is not chal. You can't make two shvuas. I already took a shvua. It's a shvuas shab. It's meaningless. It doesn't have chal. You can't have three shvuas to do something. Only one. So the Gemara answers, "Ma'ikam Ashlam. What do you want to say? Dafilu zuzi ba'alma. Right? Maybe the mitzvah of the Torah we're talking about is kiyum mitzvah over here. Hanin Rav Gidal Kamais. That's the same statement as the first statement of Rav Gidal Marav. What new thing are we learning over here? The Gemara answers, "Hakam Ashlam came in the boy pater nafshe bekriyash v'shachas v'arvit mishmachi chayil shuva aleh." No, it's teaching you something fundamental about mitzvah of Torah. Mitzvah of Torah, like I mentioned many times in the shiurim on Kriyash Hilchos Kriyash Man Shulchan Aruch Yomi Table and Able, we talk about Kriyash Shma Shachas Arvis. Technically, the Gemara Menachos says, and here the Gemara also says that you can be Yotzei your mitzvah of Kriyas Hadar Liman Torah during the day just with saying Shachas and Mar, going davening Shachas and Mar and saying Kriyash Shma during them. You're technically Yotzei, right? You're Yotzei already. So therefore, the chiddush is that when you say I'm learning a Masechta, I'm learning, right? So therefore, Chayil Shvuah. What exactly does it mean Chayil Shvuah? That I've explained in the Shiurim. That there's difference in Torah Shebachtav and Torah Shebal Peh. There's a mitzvah of Torah Shebachtav to learn twice a day. Torah Shebal Peh is actually chiyuv to always be contemplating Torah. And learning a Masechta or learning a Perek is part of that mitzvah. So that's what the Gemara is saying over here. There's two different types of mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah of Kriyas Torah Shebachtav, which is Kriyas Shema, you can be able to it. And then another God on another Israel. It's a new mitzvah. That's what he's telling you. You can take a shvuah to actually do a mitzvah because it wasn't covered in the first mitzvah. Amar Rav Gidal, Amar Rav, Omer lechaver nashkim nishna perek zeh. He says to his friend, "Let's get up together." All right? I said this to my friend. Let's play basketball together. Last week I played basketball with my friend Dovi Appel. A guy from, I don't really know him so well. He lives here in Tulsa, similar background to me. He's like 6 years younger than me. Went to Kushner. He was a good basketball player back in the day. You know, he learns in the mirror. He had not played basketball in 14. He had not played basketball in 14 years until last Wednesday night. We played together. You know, I've been doing some cardio for about a year on and off, try to get back in shape. You know, 40 years old. I want to keep my body in good condition. You know, so I've played ball intermittently over the years, but not so much. So I said, "Come, let's play." So he came, and we played. And he hadn't played in 14 years, and he was decent. I mean, he wasn't so bad. He was very good back in the day. He was 6 years younger than me. I beat him three times to 0. But I'm sure we'll play more. But he's a little rusty, but. It was, so I said to him, "Come, let's play." I'm the one instigating him to play. So, tonight he couldn't come because he wasn't feeling well. But anyway, so the point is, a person says he wants to get someone to learn Torah with him. Nashkim nishta perek zeh. Let's wake up early, let's learn. Alav lahashkim. You who made the commitment, you told the guy, you started it, you have to get up earlier than him. Shenemar v'yomer Eli. Hashem says to a Navi, he says to one of the Nevi'im, he says, "Go to the valley, I'll be there." And Hashem was already there when he got there. Amar Yosef, if in your dream they put you in excommunication, you have to take this seriously. We have to take this seriously. You need 10 people to matter and nidu, not just 3. Who the Tanu Hilchasa? They have to be people that are familiar with the Gemara. Aval Masnu V'Lotanu, they're just familiar with Mishnayos. They just do Mishnah Yomi. They don't do Daf Yomi. Lo V'i the Tanu Hilchasa, V'i Leiko the Tanu Hilchasa. If you can't find people who learn Gemara, Afilo Masnu V'Lotanu, but David, you can rely on 10 people who learn Mishnayos. V'i Leiko, if you don't even have those 10 people, Leizav Abarjas Rachim, go to a crossroads. V'Yayiv Shamal Asara L'Bei Asara. Say hello to 10 people. They'll say Shalom Aleichem to you. Adami Kloile Asara the Gamri Hilchas until. And that will stave off the effects of the excommunication until you can find 10 people, the Gamri Hilchas that learn Gemara. Amalei Ravina Ravashi, Adaman Shamte, Maud Lishra, like he knows he was excommunicated in his dream, and he knows who it was. There was a certain person, a certain rabbi excommunicated him in his dream. Maud Lishra, like, can you go in real life when you wake up in the dream, go to the rabbi and ask him to matir? Amalei the shmute shuvei shaliach, the mishrei shuvei shaliach. Maybe Hashem only made him a shliach to put you in nido and not to take you out of nido. Amalei Ravachal Ravashi. Shamte v'sharli b'chalme, not mine. What about if you were excommunicated in your dream and you also dreamt in the same dream that they matir your nidor? I'm like shem she have the bar below teven. It's like it's impossible to have grain without any chaff, right? Kach yev shar, the top of Chanan Bey is the chalam below dvarim b'teilim, right? Every dream has things which are true and things which are not true. So therefore, maybe the excommunication was true, but when they were matir the nidor, that wasn't true. You have to get it taken care of. Ravina Havala Nidroli B'Tai. Ravina, now we're not talking about excommunication, we're talking about a neder. His wife took a neder upon himself. Asik Lamei the Ravashi, he came to his Rabbi Ravashi. Amalei Bol Maushi Asa Shliach L'Charar Ishto. It's the meaning for a woman to go in front of a basin of 3 men. Could he be the representative for his wife and tell the basin that his wife did has charat and she regrets her neder? That's one of the ways they matter neder. Amalei Imechanfin in. If there are people already there, they're already adjudicating a different case. Yes, lo. If you have to gather people for this, then because we shouldn't rely on it. Really, you shouldn't be a shliach for charatas ishto. However, a baal is ishto kagufo. So b'diavad you could do it if they're already in place. But you want triach other people to do it, you shouldn't do that. Shmaminat tlas. So you learn 3 things. The shmaminat baal nasa shliach charatas ishto. First of all, we learn a husband can b'diavad be a shliach and matir his wife's neder. Shmaminat lo shar lemishri nidra ba'asra the rabbi. Right? Why didn't the husband himself, or Avina, he knew how to be matir nedarim. A yachan mumcha, someone who's a big rabbi, he could be matir nedarim because he was in place of his Rebbe Rav Ashi, so therefore he didn't want to do it himself. Only with the people already gathered, then you can rely on those based in to matir the neder. The Gemara adds on, v'shamta fil ba'asi the rabbi v'yachan mumcha shari shamta. When it comes to excommunication, which is more severe, so therefore, even if your Rebbe is in the town, you can do it yourself. Yachan mumcha shari shamta, and also, like we're going to learn by Nedarim, right? A professional rabbi could matir a neder. He could also matir a nidoy. Amar Rav Shimon bar Zvid, Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Tav, Amar Rav Chia, Richa, Dvei Rav Acha, Amar Rav Zera, Amar Rav Lazar, Amar Chanina, Amar Rav Yom Mishab, B'Shmei Rav Yishod, Rav Ilai. I love this Gemara, all the names of the rabbis. It just goes on and on and on. My dichsiv, Zarcha Lechem Yari. I like it because it takes up lines of the Gemara. I have to explain it. My dichsiv, Zarcha Lechem Yari Shmi. There's a pasuk in the Navi. The sun will come out for those people who fear my name. Elo b'nei Adam shen yirein lahotzi shem shmaim lo. Who are these people? They're fearful of what? Of saying Hashem's name in vain. Shemesh stako marpe. The shemesh will act as a refuah for them. He says, even nowadays, before Olam Haba, the sunlight, the rays of the sunlight heal you. Abayi's explanation of the pasuk argues in Shimon Lakish's explanation. He learned from this pasuk that in Olam Haba there's no Gehenim. What is Gehenim? Hashem takes out the sun from its sheath. The sun, I guess, is extremely hot, obviously, and it's being protected. We don't feel the full strength of its heat. So he takes it out where it's really powerful. Tzaddikim, when they're exposed to this heat, they become healed. Rishoyim, don't get healed. Somehow they just get punished with it. It's too hot. The pasuk says, he's talking about the same pasuk. He says, Yari Shmi, the tzaddikim are Yari Shmi. They'll get refuah from the sun. Not only they get refuah, they also enjoy it. The pasuk continues, it'll go out and it'll stretch like cows in the pasture. They stretch out after they graze. The Rishayim are judged with it, the sun. The pasuk before this pasuk of Zarcha Achem Yarei Shmi says that the sun will burn up like people in an oven, like an oven. You'll be in an oven. So that's for the Shoyim. That's what Rish Lakish learned is going on Olam Haba. According to Abaye, it's talking about even nowadays, the sun can be beneficial to people. It can heal them. Yeah, if you're sitting, I don't know. I was at breakfast today. The sun was actually annoying. It was actually because they changed the clock here in Israel. So I went out to breakfast at 11 o'clock. Usually I go back to breakfast at 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. Here it's really 12 o'clock. It's already midday. The sun was beating on my legs, but it wasn't so bad. But sun can be pretty annoying, actually. I don't know. I like cooler weather better. Ever since I moved to Israel, I like cooler weather better. I used to like the summer better in America, but the spring the winter in Israel is like the spring in America. The summer in Israel is like the summer in America. It's always better to live in Israel. Anyway, see you in Ian with Ben Sion. We're going to talk more about the beginning of this Gemara of a Shvua, L'kaimis, a mitzvah. There's mitzvah chiyuvis and mitzvah kiyumis, famous distinction that the Briskers came up with. I think it's from Chaim Brisker. The Gemara really alludes to it over here. Talk more about that. Ian with Ben Sion coming up next.